Welcome to Colts Law. I'm Lawrence Owen, and today I have, as usual, Colts Loyalist with me today. We're going to be going over tomorrow's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game of the Indianapolis Colts visiting the Minnesota Vikings. And today what we're going to do is we're just going to go over a few things of what to look for in this game as Colts fans on, what we think we need to see in order to prepare for the regular season. And today I'm going to start off by handing it on over to Loyalist. And Loyalist, what are a couple things that you're going to be looking for in tomorrow's game and others should be looking for as the game plays?
Well, I know this will be a shock to you, but I'm really watching them in the interior. I want to see what the trenches. Man, I hope we can find somebody that just wants to step up and fill that void at left tackle. I mean, everything that we've seen all camp, there's just not been a clear-cut winner. I mean, quite honestly, it's been closer to having clear-cut, oh, this isn't the right guy. You know what I mean? So I'm really hoping to see that somebody steps up, whether, I don't care. I don't care if it's Sam Tevy, if it's Will Holden, if it's Julian Davenport. I really don't care. But honestly, I feel like if we don't find an answer today or tomorrow with the game and stuff, I think Ballard might start thinking about looking around, looking at other options because, as we know up to this point, we haven't heard any news stating that Fisher's going to make it back week one or not. And quite honestly, we know from last year with the Jacksonville game, week one, yes, I know it's only one game, but man, that one game really kept us from a lot last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I would really like to see that please, somebody stand up at the tackle position and show that, you want that job. And secondly, and this is much more on the positive side of things, I just can't wait to see our defensive rush. It's mostly from the ends, but, I enjoy watching Grove and DeForest and Woods and, and Dontrell Carter and all them guys work. But I really would like to see some consistent performance, especially tomorrow with the fact that we should see a lot more reps with the ones against Minnesota, So I would like to see that our defensive ends and stuff can get pressure against those upper quality type players. Because like we said, last week, Carolina didn't start any of their starters at O-line. So, we were a little disappointed because we had seen so much explosion during camp and stuff. And I just would like to see a little of that transfer over into the game. If we can sit there and show that we can generate a pass rush, whether it's through Tyquan Lewis or Kamoko Toure or we'll get to see Quiddy back, hopefully, and get to see him with some reps. I'm really looking forward to that because we missed out on that last weekend. So, yeah, like I said, if we could just sit there and see some more of the same that we've seen during camp from the DNs and hopefully see something that we just, quite honestly, haven't seen at all from the tackle position, those are the two huge question marks for me. So I was wondering, what do you think about that?
Well, actually, my biggest thought was when you're talking about that is I can't agree more about the left tackle position because, like you said, they didn't even play the starters. They didn't have starting quality defensive ends against our tackles last week, and they were getting pressure on a consistent basis, right? Getting sacks, strip sacks, things of that nature. They need to step up because they're going to be going up against the best of that Minnesota has to offer. And we will have Sam Ehlinger at quarterback at that point. So that'll be an interesting dynamic to watch as Sam is known to be that guy who can move around the pocket and avoid pressure and create things outside the pocket. So that will be interesting. Again, same with our pass rush last week. We had one sack, and it wasn't even with the defensive ends. It was some guy, a fifth-string lineman, right? Not
Yep.
the guys, not Teray, not Banagoo, the guys who have been really lighting it up, Isaac Rochelle in training camp, and it makes you wonder: is it more, all that pressure that we're seeing in training camp? Is that more indicative of our tackles just being that bad? We need to see some improvement all the way around, and going up against a different team will really help us see really what we have, especially when it comes to the ones, right?
Oh,
So,
absolutely. I mean, it's gotten to the point for me that, I know this sounds bad because we were all about, no, let's keep Quentin at left guard. But I mean, quite honestly, if these tackles don't show something, I'm starting to look at this Quentin Nelson out to left tackle just for a game or two, until we get Fisher out. I'm starting to look at that as, I mean, because our interior depth, Chris Reed, Danny Penter, if he gets, healthy enough, I mean, I trust them a lot more than I do, any of the depth that we've seen on the tackle position. So, I mean, like I said, honestly, I don't want this to be the solution, especially with, Q coming back from his own surgery and stuff, I mean, but right now it's getting to the point if we don't see something, I'm starting to, rethink and rehash that. Okay, what about Quentin for a game or two out at left tackle and slide Chris Reed or Danny Penter, into the guard position?
if
Not
Penner
the
is back from that injury by that point,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I mean, it's not the ideal solution, but I mean, right now, we just haven't seen a solution. And this is no knock to Ballard. I mean, you could see that he obviously put through a lot of resources at it. I mean, and threw as many people at the problem as he could. So it's just didn't pan out. Like I said, we haven't to this point seen anybody flash. Now, Julian Davenport got a lot of run this last week in camp. If he can keep from jumping off sides, daggone it, maybe he's the guy. I mean, we just, he got a late start with being wrapped up in the COVID protocol, at the beginning and stuff. So maybe he's the guy that's going to come in and steal it. And if that's great, fine. Now, I mean, he was the least likely in my, before camp started and stuff, he was the least likely guy I thought would fill that spot. But right now, we just need somebody to sit there and give them quarterbacks the confidence to know they can sit back in the pocket for a whole 2.5 seconds before they're getting blitzed.
Yeah. So moving on, I think obviously, okay, so Justin Jefferson will not be playing this weekend, from what I understand. So it'll be a little bit easier for the rest of the defense, I think, because Justin Jefferson is an absolute stud at wide receiver. He showed it last year during the season, nearly breaking many of the rookie wide receiver records out there. Another thing, so, our cornerbacks, I think, they need to have a good showing against, a deprived wide receiving core against the Minnesota Vikings. But don't forget, they have this guy. His name's Dalvin Cook. All right.
Sure.
And he is a stud at running back. He could do it all. Run the football. He can catch it out of the backfield. He can do just about anything that you need him to do. He is a workhorse for the Vikings. And I want to see, like what the Colts did last year against the Minnesota Vikings while Cook was in, I want to see them hold him down. And they did that last year. I got to see that happen again. And on the offensive side, as I said, you got Sam Ehlinger is going to be the starting quarterback. We're going to see him against a starting defense with the starting offensive players out there. I need to see if he can do what he did last week with the 2s and 3s and 4s out there, playing with and against, but this time doing it with the 1s.
Let's hope. Mm-hmm. Let's hope it's more of the 3rd and 4th and 5th reps that he got last weekend, and not the first couple where things started off bumpy.
Yeah, exactly. And then in the second half, by far, I need to see Jacob Eason. I need to see two people, not just Jacob Eason, but I need to see another guy, Mike Strawn. I got a feeling that those two guys need to connect early and often in the second half of this game. If they are to be a starter or get close to being a starter, if Jacob Eason is fighting for that position to be, that guy behind Carson Wentz, he needs to light it up against the 2s, 3s, and 4s that the Minnesota Vikings have on defense. Even though he has different guys, lower on the totem pole on the Colts roster as well, when you have a guy like Mike Strawn who's been out there lighting it up during training camp day in and day out with Eason throwing him the ball, I need to see that connection happen against Minnesota, and I need to see it early and often. I need to see them completely dominate that. If they do not completely dominate, then that's going to put a question in my head as to how good these guys really are. They need to dominate against lesser competition when it comes to something of that nature. So,
Oh, totally agree. Totally agree. Because, I mean, you guys think about it. I mean, I understand, that Carson's mobile and stuff, but as far as just the passes thrown, Strawn is getting used to catching these passes from Eason. And I would have to believe that, Carson's, when he throws a pass, I'd have to believe that the receivers are catching more of a Jacob Eason style pass than they would be catching the Sam Ellinger pass. I mean, it's got more velocity and it just seems to have more energy to it. So like you said, if Strong could go out and show like he has the entire camp, what I mean, and against guys that are equal to lesser talent. I mean, yes, I know he's a 7th-round draft pick, but he's still been out there shining a lot brighter than what you would normally think of from a 7th-round draft pick. So yeah, if those guys go out and control that, that would be a definite confidence boost for the fan base.
Don't forget, we also have a 6th wide receiver spot on the Indianapolis Colts that have yet to be really kind of sorted out. And there's quite a few wide receivers that will be fighting for that there in the second half. Guys like Tariq Black and Des Patman and others, to say the least. So keep an eye on those guys as well. Well, I want to thank you, Loyalist, for joining me here on Colts Law. If you're watching on Newsbreak, please smash that like button and hit the share. And go check me out on YouTube on the link here on my channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go check me out on Newsbreak. Because, not all of our stuff is on either platform. So until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.